Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of my Out of the Park Baseball 21 series with the Detroit Tigers. Of course, we are now the Austin Prospects, and today we're kind of picking up in the series at the All-Star break in the 2027 season. Now I'm going to go over the All-Star game rosters, and then we're going to kind of get into the meat of the episode, which is going to be the trade deadline. So now here the All-Star game rosters, we're going to take a look at first here, and we do have one representative here pitching-wise, Mackenzie Gore, who has been an interesting season so far, which we'll get to in a little bit. Anderson Severino is here as a reliever, which is kind of interesting. His ratings have declined. I'm very surprised to see him in this game. And then we should have a hitter or two. Yeah, Paulini's here, of course. He's really turned into be the stud of our team, and not Jordan Walker at this point. And then here we'll go over the Futures game All-Stars just real quick to kind of see if we have anyone here. And I don't see anyone first grades. We have Chris Solomon here, who was our first round pick from this past year. He's made it, which is pretty cool. And then anyone else, I don't see anyone, at least. And Jesse Bullard, who actually could be seeing some major league experience very, very soon. So he's here, and I'm sure he actually will probably see some time in the major leagues at some point this season. But so now that that's gone over, we're going to go ahead and look at the standings. So, of course, when I last updated you, which was around the international amateur free agent signing period, we were in first, and we're still in first. But we're in a very, very tight race with the Royals in terms of both half game and a game out. Now, of course, we are in the wild card race as well, and there really aren't that many teams in it. But that being said, we're definitely going to be gearing towards lots of moves at the trade deadline. Because we're definitely going to be needing to improve our team, and I really want to go ahead and improve our team. So I think I've talked about this in a few past episodes, but our main need at the deadline is a real shortstop. We had Abrams moonlighting there, who's more of a third baseman, but he's done for the rest of the season, so he's not going to be able to be there. And we've had Jordan Walker actually playing shortstop, and he hasn't had a good season at the plate. I wonder a bit, if it is because of us forcing him to play shortstop. But then we have Bogarts at third because of this, and he's been awful at third base because his arm ratings are fine, but he just has no range, and for some reason can't develop any positional ratings at third base. So he's been very bad there. So we need a shortstop. That is pretty much our thing for batting. I really am pretty comfortable with the rest of our team. I mean, everything else is pretty fine, I think. But again, we just need a shortstop. Really bad. Because really, I think that's really our only huge hole. And I mean, it is a massive hole. Because defensively, the left side of our infield has been awful. Now, pitching-wise, I'm more comfortable with that kind of thing. I mean, you can see our starter FIPS here. Rocker has not been great. Honestly, not many of our guys have been great. Michael Flores has actually been our best starter this year, which is crazy. So, but I think, there's not really much to do here because, what do we do if, we marginally go ahead and upgrade, kind of the rotation maybe because, Wentz is here and his FIP is pretty decent. So, Walker, Loizega, and Gore, all of the guys who we brought in to solidify our pitching staff are the ones who kind of haven't been as good. But I have, faith that they'll probably bounce back and get better. Now, as for our bullpen, we don't really have that many holes in the bullpen. Montoya, he hasn't been good for us. But really, everyone else in the bullpen has been pretty good, especially Vasquez and Jimenez. Now, Jimenez has really been kind of locking down the closer role for us. So he's probably going to be, staying kind of in our highest leverage relief role. Now Montoya's second. But, Montoya could be a bit better, but I'm not too concerned about the bullpen. Maybe we go ahead and get an arm for pitching. But again, I really think the only thing that we're definitely going to go after is a shortstop. And I'm definitely going to try to do that soon. And I'm going to then update you guys with kind kind of what move I decided to make at shortstop. So a trade that I found here, and what could be the only kind of move that we make here, kind of is going to go ahead and solve really two of our problems here that we have. Now the first is the one I really talked about, Alberto Mondesi. Now, kind of the situation he's in with the Red Sox, they're not that good of a team, and they have a ton of really young infielders that they really want to give chances to. And Mondesi, he's in the last year of kind of a big extension that he had signed with the Red Sox. So they're going to go ahead and eat a bunch of the money that they're paying him, kind of give some of those young guys. Now Mondesi, he really kind of hasn't really been that great of recent. You can see 2024 was really the last time he was productive and the last time he was an all-star. Now, kind of last year he really struggled. This year he's already been better with the bat than he was last year, way better last year. And then seeing 2025, which is kind of comparable to the numbers you're putting up this season. Really, I'd be fine with that kind of offensive production. Again, he really doesn't walk at all, so his ability to get on base isn't very good. And that's really the only thing that's kind of bad about his hitting ratings. His hitting ratings are decent otherwise, decent contact, decent power bat for us. But the big thing, of course, is he plays a pretty good shortstop, slightly better than league average. And, of course, we have Jordan Walker, who's absolutely terrible defensively there right now. So this is kind of a no-brainer for us. The shortstop kind of market this game, really, there's nothing. I mean, there's literally no good shortstops that really are available, or in situations where I could pry them away from their teams, like guys who aren't on teams that are already, like dynasties, who would never trade away kind of, this kind of good player. And then the second kind of thing that we're going to get from this trade is actually kind of a really good reliever, Willie Bustelos. He's 33. Now, he's an international guy that came in the league a few years ago, the 2022 season, and he's also kind of under his last year of team control. So this is kind of, I wanted to, just see if they would throw in their kind of elite reliever here who's in the last year of his deal, and they did pretty much no problem. This year he has not been as good as he has in past years, but so you see his strikeout rate is way down. See, in 2025 here it was 13, so he's really not the elite reliever he was. But we're kind of a weak in lefties in the bullpen. We're not really weak. Anderson Severino's our second lefty, and he's having a good year, but his ratings are not very good. So I thought wouldn't hurt to bring in some bullpen insurance, especially since kind of a lot of our depth here. You can see our guy here who we drafted in 2024, who I was planning on bringing up, he's out for 8 months, so he's not even an option, kind of at his depth. So we still have Lippold as kind of reliever depth, but still not a ton of stuff. And I don't even know who this Henderson guy is here. 2025 pick. Well, this guy is. There are tons of guys in this series who have just turned out to be monsters. Yeah, I mean, this is ridiculous. Like, I've made so many mid-round picks that have hit into fantastic players in this series that it's just absolutely ridiculous. And this guy looks like he's definitely going to be one of them. Wow. So that's kind of funny. But yeah, he looks ridiculous. And so yeah, this is the trade we're going to do. Let's see if maybe they could maybe want to eat some money on Bustelos' contract. Right now we're not giving up anything. We're giving up Carson Applegate, who's literally just a 23-year-old reliever who I do not care about at all. I mean, he's not rated highly or anything. So, let's see if they would be willing to part with anything. Looks like we're getting into territory where we maybe have to give up something. Roca here doesn't look like anything. He's only 19 though, so I think I'm going to hang on to him. See if they would eat any of this 10, that's fine. I mean, we should have money to play with. So yeah, they'll eat 20. Could they eat 25? No, so this is fine as it is. This is, Mondesi is really the best shortstop available that we could find. So, he's just going to have to be who we go with. So we're going to go ahead and do the deal. Then I'll let you know if we find anything else, but I really doubt that there's going to be anything else that really fills a need or anything. So we're gonna go ahead now. We have to make our roster moves. So we traded away. Who we traded away is we didn't trade anyone in the major league roster, but we do have a hole. We only have 12 guys. Pitching wise, so Bustelis is gonna go ahead and fill that role. Pitching wise, and then we need to send somebody down. Currently, we have 4 catchers on the roster, so I mean, I think that it definitely has to be one of these guys that ends up going down. I think it's probably going to be Perez, even though he's mashing in AAA. We just have to send him down because I would prefer to keep Turner around, at least for now, because we have Collins in here. So I mean, he's not great defensively, but the bat he's great, so he can spell Seager in that way. So Turner doesn't even really need to play. So Mondesi, you're gonna go ahead and get him and bring him on, and I'll show you guys kind of it chalks up. I simmed today, but I still need to take off Walker as his position strategy is at shortstop, so need to do that with him, and then that should reset everything because Bogarts isn't locked into playing third. So we're gonna do that. Walker goes back to third. His position goes back to third base, which is good. His ratings, which have come down, go back up. So that is all good to see. Collins, I think, we'll keep him locked in a DH for now. Bogarts is there. Starter is tired. And, so I think, this is how it's going to go ahead and line up. Mondesi sliding in at shortstop, batting 8th. So, nothing really out of the ordinary here. Tyler Freeman, I know, he is injured. 18 days left. We're going to let him rehab a little bit more before we go ahead and put him back on the roster. So I'm gonna let him do that, and then I think I'm gonna sim forward a little bit and then kind of let you know if I decide to do anything else, but I really don't think that'll go ahead and be doing anything else. So the trade deadline has come and gone, and we didn't make any additional moves to kind of bolster our team. Because of kind of the fact that this episode would most likely be extremely short with kind of how the breakdown has been this season, I'm going to kind of go ahead and keep kind of following the season a little kind of more closely than I have in the past, just kind of, since again this episode has been pretty short. So the next thing, an update that I have, is that Cesar Sanchez had actually gone down for 2 to 3 weeks. It's actually a pretty decent hit. Of course, he's a monster defensively in center field, and he has been pretty decent with the bat. Now, Rutten is, at least I think that's how you say it, I have no idea. But of course, we like his potential. He's not ready to play, everyday center fielder yet, although, of course, he is really going to have to. He has no choice at this point. And we don't have any other center field depth options, so Ian Happ is actually going to be our backup center fielder during this time. So that's just kind of what is going to have to happen. Actually, his outfield range is much better than his infield range, so he can actually do that a bit. And then we called Freeman back up in the place of Sanchez, and then kind of this is what our roster looks now. So we're just going to keep on kind of going through, and I'll update every few weeks. And then here you can see Drew Bowser, he gets hurt. He's down for 3 weeks, and our infield depth is very good at this point, besides shortstop. So Bowser, he goes down. We have to replace him on the major league roster. And really, we're basically just searching for backup second and third baseman at this point. I see this is where I would call up Bullard, but he's actually hurt right now. At least I believe he is. He should still be on the injured list. He's out for 3 to 4 weeks, so this is exactly where he would have came up. But of course, now he's injured, so he can't really do that. Henderson is a guy I could call up here. He wants to be playing the majors already. Wow, he is already 24, which is crazy. He honestly, he can play a little bit of the outfield. We don't have any backup kind of second, third, and that's what we need, of course, right now. But he might be the guy, since he hit well in he was hitting well in he is hitting well in AA. Struggled a little bit in AAA. He honestly might be who we go with. Rivas here, he can play. He is also an option. Kind of want to see him. Ritter, Perez. Ritter's been good. So far, but I mean, his ratings. He doesn't really have any option. We'll go with once out Perez for now, and he'll kind of back up there. And then here, the next thing that could happen is we're on August 10th now. Andrew Vasquez goes down for 4 to 5 weeks, which makes me even more happy that we brought in a guy like Bucelos. Now he can be our lead lefty with him going down. And then we have Severino still on the roster. Benitez, I'm actually going to kind of check to see. Benitez has continued to be bad. We might have to keep him up though, with kind of how it's shaking out. We have Che Mew and Chadwick as our options. Kind of left. Davenport's also an option. Yeah, all of these guys are righties. We'll go with Chadwick as that guy to replace him. And I guess we have to keep Benitez around for now. Kind of just as a third lefty option, because Severino, even though he's been good, I don't want to kind of alienate them as the two lefties, and I don't want to see Severino, his kind of numbers are going up and up and up since the All-Star break. So as you can tell, we are at the end of the regular season. I actually decided to go ahead and skip for a while because the division race that I thought would be really close actually ended up not being close at all. We pulled away immediately. Even though Minnesota did play well in the last few games and actually almost got into the wild card, they are playing for that second wild card spot with the Athletics. But yeah, they were not all that close to us at all. And we actually won 97 games. We had a great season, definitely much better than kind of the meddling performance that we had in the past few seasons, especially. Going to look at the expected win-loss real quick. And okay, so we actually were a bit ahead of it. 93 wins is what we should have been, but our division ended up being pretty easy, I should say, with a lot of teams not playing very well. And the American League in general just wasn't very good. I mean, the entire American League East, besides the Rays, wasn't very good. Our division wasn't very good, and then the AL West had 3 good teams, and then everyone else was kind of just okay. So very weak American League this year. You can see, the Brewers won 90 games. They didn't even make it. The Pirates were 4th in the NL Central. They won 87 games. Just absolutely crazy. Very strong National League this year. So, hopefully that means that we have a good chance at making, the American League, making the World Series for the American League, that is. So, hopefully that happens. But anyways, now we're going to go ahead and look at the team performances for our team, how we usually do, and look at, how everyone performed this year. Of course, our catcher duo, as I've talked about, not even duo, our catchers this year performed very, very well. Corey Collins, he moonlighted at DH for, not even moonlighting, he's just a good hitter, so we decided to utilize him in the DH spot. Kind of didn't play as well because, that BABIP was on 400. It came down to 320, which, is much more reasonable. Anthony Siegler, he had a great year at the bat, actually. His best year to date with the bat. Slugged over 400, OPS over 700. That's a fantastic season for him, especially, he is an absolute fantastic defensive catcher. So just an amazing season from him. And then our guy, Chris Turner, he actually had a pretty good season. Of course, we weren't really expecting anything from him this year. More of a prospect for us. But he did pretty well in the at-bats he did get. So cool stuff there. Ian Happ was at first base for us. He had a very hot start to the season and then really cooled off as the season went on. He was in that platoon, of course, with Blaze Jordan. So he only got the at-bats against righties. Jordan actually started DHing a little bit at the end of the season because he did get very hot. And he actually improved a lot. There was a point in the season where I was very much considering releasing him outright or sending him down. And he actually came back pretty well. His OPS was over 800, almost 850 to be exact. OPS plus of 115. He actually came on very strong. His ratings are pretty good. offensively. So, I really was hoping that he could kind of develop into something. He's only 24 still, and he actually had a pretty good season, definitely the best he's had so far with us. So good looks there. Drew Bowser and Tyler Freeman are on base, second base duo. Very good. Freeman, he was very good this season, of course. He's always usually limited to not that many games considering his injuries, but he was very good in the games he did play. And then Bowser, of course, he played second base when Freeman wasn't available. He also DH'd a little bit this season. He was pretty good. Not the same power numbers that Freeman has. Freeman has pretty good gap power, I believe. Yeah, he does. So he's able to utilize his power that way to get some extra base hits. Bowser, not nearly as much, but still definitely a good guy to have around. Jordan Walker, he did not have a great season. Definitely not following up that fantastic season he had last year. Pretty much league average at the plate, of course. Still pretty good defensively, so providing value there. But I'm confident that he will bounce back. His ratings really didn't go anywhere. And I also think, playing him a lot at shortstop probably had some to do with kind of his down performance this year. So I believe that he'll be able to get back on that next year. Bogarts, he's mainly DH for us, played third base when he absolutely had to without Abrams. And he was decent for us. He was about league average at the plate. Can't really, ask much more, I guess. His WARs, I think, is kind of deflated a lot because of his really poor performance when we had to throw him in at third base and we didn't really have any other options. We really were tied. Even our depth options like Bullard were injured at the time, so we just had to throw him out there. So, other than that, he was pretty good at the plate. I'm pleased with that performance from him. Now, Mondesi, he actually played very well with us with the bat. As you can see, his splits with us there, 291, 326, 511. So when he got to Detroit, it seems like his morale improved instantly, and he became very, very good for us. And of course, he also played great defense with us, way above league average there. So, that was a fantastic get for us. Having a real shortstop for the end of the season really helped us out. Not sure if I'm going to bring him back. He does want a lot of money, and I definitely don't think he's worth that. So we'll definitely be looking, or we'll most likely be looking somewhere else for a shortstop next season. But for the job that he's doing right now, I definitely cannot complain about that. Paolini, he's the best player we have. What can I say? Not very good defensively. Look at those offensive ratings. He's just an absolute beast. I actually wonder if he would want to be extended, and he does not yet. But, he's 26. He's the best player on our team. Can't really complain about that. And then Rutten and Sanchez, both actually had really similar seasons. Kind of a little bit of pop and not really hitting for a high average. But, again, playing great defense in the field. Not so much Rutten. All his defensive ratings still have a bit to go. His offensive ratings are improving, but Sanchez, again, mostly, he's pretty much fully developed. Rutten, not really. So Rutten's defensive rating still developing, but again, pretty pleased with that center field performance. Could have been much worse. And then Basabe actually turned in the best performance of his career. Little above league average, OPS over 800, and 2.5 WAR, which is the highest in his career. So a career season from him, I really don't know what his future is going to be because, we have guys like Bullard, guys like Henderson who are coming up, guys like Villapadua, guys that are coming up and are pretty much ready to play. So he could maybe be brought back as a depth option, but I think it might be time to move on from him in right field, considering the plethora of options that we have. And, that really creates a lot of depth. So the only role for him really is kind of as a fourth outfielder, maybe. His ability to get on base is still very good, but other than that, his hitting ratings have kind of declined a bit. Now, looking pitching-wise, here we actually sent a lot of those guys down that were struggling. Paulino, Benitez, they're all gone. So, other than that, our pitching was very good this season. The highest FIP other than those guys was 4.62, and that was Loizega, and he actually turned in kind of much better performances later in the season for us, so he was getting hot at the end. Ronnie Garcia, a pretty good season from him. I believe the only really full season he's ever had with the team. It all coming out of relief this year. Rocker, he could have been better. Bustelos, not really what we wanted there, but I mean, still being a good second lefty option. I mean, we're very prepared for teams with good lefties, and really I think this is the most balanced team we've had. I mean, we have good pitching. We don't really have the lefty reliever hole in the past that we've had. Lefties have really killed us in the postseason. So I mean, I think we're ready, and this is definitely the best team that we've carried into the postseason so far. So I'm pretty excited. Wentz, Severino were pretty decent for us, especially Wentz, kind of rebounding from what was his worst season after what his best season was. So pretty good there from Wentz. Excited with that performance. Gore and Flores were our best starters this year. Kind of Phipps in the low fours. Would have liked better performance, especially from Gore, who we're paying a lot of money to over the next few seasons, really into 2036, but with that opt-out in 2030. So I mean, we're going to be paying him a lot of money, so he better kind of, get his act together there, maybe start pitching a little better. Montoya, Robson, Mew, Vasquez, Jimenez, all of these guys were very good for us. Mew, he only pitched 12 innings for us, but he's been that guy who's just been waiting in the wings. We just haven't really had a spot for him because he's been pitching great in AAA. Hasn't really pitched the best in the major leagues in his chances, but still good 12 innings there for us. Don't know why I wasted so much time with a guy who pitched 12 innings and I continue to. But yeah, I mean, all of these guys pretty good. Montoya, he was a little banged up this year actually. But other than that, pretty much everything is normal. And so yeah, I mean, again, this is definitely the best team we've had kind of heading into the postseason. So very excited, and hopefully, we can do some damage in the postseason. And even in the next few years, we should definitely be looking to do lots of damage, especially with our pitching, the balance of our pitching staff, our offense. And if we can really solidify that shortstop position next offseason, I mean, I think we'll be even more dangerous if we have that for an entire season. So thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to like, sub if you're enjoying the videos. And I'll see you guys next episode.